Hey, what an awesome win for Coach Moore and the women's basketball team the other night against Notre Dame. It was awesome to watch them play, beating the #1 team and double overtime. So shout out to the women's basketball team and Coach Moore. That was awesome. Really enjoyed watching them and really showcased NC State's grit in that game. Segue into football. It's been a good winter. You know, you come in January. We started right away. January 6th, we started back, and different edge about this group. I think anytime you go through a tough season, the returners have a different mentality. Maybe don't take things for granted. You understand how hard it is, how demanding you need to be on each other, the accountability piece. I thought Coach Thunder and our strength staff did a really nice job increasing that in the off-season program. And there was a lot of good leadership learned and a lot to prove for me, for our staff, for the players. So exciting time going through the winter program today. Obviously we're not in pads yet, but it was fun to see the new coaches coach for me. It's great to be out here, beautiful day weather-wise, and see Coach Elliott and Coach Warren, Coach Moore, Coach Shaw, Coach Locklear, see these guys in different roles. Obviously some of them are new to our staff, some of them are elevated and doing really good things on the field. A lot of learning, a lot of things we got to do better, obviously. A lot of guys had their first college practice, and so fun to see that group of kids that graduated high school early that got to play football today for the first time. So excited about that. With spring football, 15 opportunities. I told the team this the other day. There's only 365 days in the year. You play 12 games that you're promised. You only get to play football 15 times in the spring. And so they're very valuable. Every rep matters for these guys. And so it's really good to get out there and just get a measuring stick on day one where we're at. Our practices this spring, obviously with 2 new coordinators, are going to be closed to the public and nothing will be televised. We'll use each opportunity on our weekends. Some will be scrimmages, some will be thud, some will be situational. But we're going to play and we're going to get better this spring, and for obvious reasons. You don't want your stuff out there if it doesn't have to be, so you don't have to see me as much. Questions?
When you say everything is closed, you mean the spring game as well?
Yeah, like I said, all 15 are closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as CJ Bailey this offseason, obviously completely different than where he was starting the spring last year. What have you seen from him from a development standpoint, from a leadership standpoint this offseason that tells you that he's ready to take over full-time all the time?
Well, he was 170 pounds last year. He didn't know anything about anything. He knew how to throw a football. But he's 200-plus pounds. He's experienced. He's learned how to lead. And that's been a big thing in the offseason with him and I. And using his voice, he's always used it on the field, but learning how to use it off the field, not just with guys you throw the ball to or linemen that block, but using it with the team as the alpha leader, which your quarterback needs to be. It's not fair to put a true freshman in that spot, and he came in and played his butt off. Learned a lot. Experience is one thing you can't give a player. You can't. And as good as he is, and talented as he is, those reps are precious. So excited to see him at a different body weight and a different mindset, having experience under his belt, knowing his teammates, understanding the lessons we learned last year and how this team needs to step forward.
2 new coordinators, Coach. How much does that make practices even more important to nail things down?
Yeah, it's critical. All these reps that you do in walkthroughs and in meetings, you have a lot of meetings in the off season, but there is no replacement for actually playing the sport, right? And so even conditioning, like football shape is different than weight room and running and conditioning. Playing the game's different, and the mental part of it, the emotional toughness that you have to have. And the 2 new coordinators obviously installing systems, but also their style of play and teaching the football IQ that they want these guys to have, how to communicate. The fundamentals is really a big thing. There's different words probably than this coach uses this word and the other coach uses that word. They might mean, Spanish and French. It's the same word in English, right? But you got to learn new things as a player, and I think that's great. I tell them all the time, if you're fortunate enough to play in the NFL, they have a lot of turnover in the NFL. They get new assistant coaches. I think I was talking to Chubb last year. He's had 5 D-line coaches in his career already. And so you have to learn how to adjust, and I think it's really good, for these guys to have that opportunity and to learn new things.
Going off that, what was the process like for you in December to make a change at offensive coordinator?
I just felt like as a group, we needed to be able to score more points, needed to play more unified football. I loved Coach and I loved working with him. He's a great man and did a lot for our program. It just felt like Kurt is a unifying force over there. I think he's, and I like the fact that both of my coordinators have chips on their shoulders. One time they were both guys that were really hot in the business, and sometimes things happen and you got to work your way back up, and they want to prove themselves just like I do, our players do, and I like that about them. But I just felt like it was the right move at the right time for the team and for what we're trying to get done.
Have you made any changes to how you approach spring, given revenue share and the ever-changing world of NIL?
No, you got what you have at this point, and obviously there's potential to add or subtract in the spring. But I'm not going to let the transactional side of the sport dictate how we coach young men. We're here to mentor, we're here to lead, we're here to develop, and we're here to teach these guys how to play this sport the right way, help them grow into better men, and help them be college graduates. And that's my duty as their coach, and I do it with pride, And the other part of the game is there, but the relational piece matters, And so we're going to continue down that track and be there for these guys and help them.
What was the connection with Coach Elliott, kind of being able to find him and bring him into?
I've known him a long time. When I was in the Midwest as a coach, he was also he was working with the Stoops brothers at that time, and Brent Venables and I talked a lot of ball together over the years. And we all recruited the same area in Dallas, so we'd stay at the same hotels and recruit against each other in the daytime. At night, we'd be sitting around talking ball. And so I've known him for 20-some years, followed his career, and really have so much respect for what he's done coaching different position groups. When your coordinator's been a D-line coach, a linebacker coach, and a DB coach, he can install and understand the stress points at every position. And then being with Dave Aranda last year, who's one of the best, in my opinion, football coaches defensively around, and learning what he's learned from Dave. I've clinicked with Dave over the years, and then learning what he's picked up from the Eagles, I thought it was the right time to evolve, and bringing in a guy that has been in the 3-3-5, which he has, but has been in a 4-2-5, has been in a 3-4. He understands how to move the parts and translate. So it was just a really good fit, and there's a lot of trust there because of our relationship.
Coach, I know it's only day one, but what does a successful spring look like in your eyes?
The first thing is you want to be healthy at the end of it. You want your guys to come out healthy. Each day I want them to improve on little things. We call it our one more, but finding something in your game that you can take off the film or add to your film from day one to day two to day three. It's aggregate improvement. If there's 100 guys out there getting better at the end of 15 practices, that's a lot of improvement over the course of the spring. As a staff, it's installing your systems, it's figuring out who your top 22 on both sides of the ball and special teams units are. So you have a depth chart going into the summer. And again, this is just going into the summer. All this is going to be fluid for us until we get through fall camp.
You had to restock the secondary last year and then once again this year. How is Johnson & Johnson as transfers kind of help in that regard?
Yeah, they're really humble kids. They got really I like their background. They're tough. They want to prove themselves to day one. So, can't really give you a ton about how they did. I know JJ had an interception today, so it was good to see him make a play. But we also got some good high school DBs in this class. I'm excited to see them, and then excited to see Brody Barnhart, Ronnie Royal, Javon Bailey, guys that we redshirted last year, and see how they've grown up and improved. So you don't necessarily have to go portal to fix when things leave. If you've done a good job in your high school recruiting, and as you know, our development is well documented, you can grow these guys in the program like we've always done.
Coach, what are you expecting from the second year group?
The second year.
The rising sophomores.
A much better version of what they were a year ago. Some of them have gained a ton of weight. Some of them have changed their bodies in good ways. Their football IQ, learning how to practice, finishing plays, maturity. Not having big eyes, and it's different. You got guys like Keenan and Terrell that played a lot. And so where are they? They're a lot further ahead than a guy that maybe only played in 4 games or didn't play at all. So over the spring, seeing that young freshman that's now a redshirt freshman you know, earn the trust of the coaching staff that they can be a part of the two deep and travel. And it's going to take time, you know, and this is one practice. But it's growth, and it's physical growth and emotional growth, mental growth, football IQ, being a good teammate, all those things.
You guys set expectations last year really high, kind of just embraced it like college football playoff, were vocal about it. Season kind of got derailed early. Do you kind of have the same approach to those expectations, or you let things just play out as they do without kind of talking about it?
You know, it's funny to me because I expect to win every game. Like, I've never gone into a football game like we're going to lose today. You know, like, you don't work like that. You guys put the expectations on us, so you can run from them or not. Like, whatever you say publicly is not what it really is. There isn't a coach in college football that doesn't expect to win every game. And so we're going to go one day at a time and try to become the best team we can be. And our body of work will equal our record at the end, right? But that's every year the same. What do you want to do? I want to win every game. Like, what else do you want to hear? That's the damn truth, you know? We're going to practice that way. We're going to lift that way. We're going to coach that way. But we got to earn it. And so it won't be any different. You can stay in here for the next 50 years if I'm alive, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. I want to win every game that I coach in. They want to win every game that they play in.